Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from. And a shalom to the hope elect brothers taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. There's another lesson on who the thief is in the scriptures. It's Renaissance Western Christianity. How convenient. Teaches that the thief is only speaking about the prince demon spiritual Satan that is seated at the left hand of the Most High Yahweh. That's how they teach this. That's one of the ways they cover and hide who Esau is. Also, Renaissance Western Christianity hides Esau, who is the thief, the so-called white man, by covering the faces of the judges. Let me make sure I got that. By covering the faces of the judges, meaning by doing iconoclasm, whitewashing, by making all the old pictures of the Hebrew Israelites that were melanated people look like so-called Edomites or white people, by making every movie out of Hollywood that is about the Bible of white people with British accents, by making cartoons, anything that has to do with God, His Son, the angels, and the chosen people, making them all look like Edomites, so-called white people, and white people being established as a nation or a race of people as a title back in 1681. This is your skull and crossbones, and the skull and crossbones is a symbol of pirates, and pirates are thieves at sea. And what is the Bible likening the nations or the peoples? It likens the people unto the sea. The sea is considered multitudes of people. So what the so-called white man is telling you is through his symbology is that he steals from the nations, he steals from the peoples, he steals from the sea. He is that serpent or the dragon that is in the sea that Yahweh is going to send Yahweh Shai to destroy.
Secret society. You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go wild.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job.
So you got two Edomites claiming to be against each other, running for president, and they're both members of the same secret society, and you fuckers think your vote works, and you think that these guys were really opposed to each other when they're just playing both the right and the left-hand side at the same time. They're trying to mimic the Most High. This dude that was interviewing him 5 years later after this interview, he just fell over dead. So many people believe that they killed him for asking these questions.
But I intend to do it.
Tim Russert, the moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's Washington bureau chief, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
You were both in Skull.
I talked to more than 150 members of Skull and Bones. However, more than twice that many yelled at me or harassed me or hung up on me because they do not and they are not supposed to talk about what goes on inside. I did get threats from some members of the society that made me both uncomfortable and also more intrigued. Why were they so protective of this organization?
The Brotherhood of Death, as it is known, shuts itself off completely from the outside world. The archives in Yale's University Library contain documents from the early days of Skull and Bones. The secret society is 180 years old. It is said to have built up a key position for itself in the U.S. power structure and established its members.
You see that right there? That's a symbol of the pirate. I'm gonna pull it up on the internet right now, so don't with this video.
Party and government office, in industry, and in the Secret Service. Up until 1970, its index of members was open to public inspection. But since then, it has been kept locked away.
The Skull and Bones Society. The mere mention of its name evokes an air of mystery and intrigue. Founded in 1832 at Yale University, it's one of the world's most exclusive and...
See that skull and crossbones? That's a symbol of a pirate, man.
secretive organizations. The Society's members, carefully selected for their leadership potential, are part of a long-standing tradition of secrecy and power.
Look how young the motherfucker in the middle looks, dude. Looks like a fucking boy. What were our people doing in the 1800s? You know what I'm saying? What was happening with our people? We were trying to get these motherfuckers' foot off our necks while they were so wealthy and so tapped into the left-hand side powers that they were able to form satanic left-handed gangs that would supernaturally empower them to go steal from fucking everybody on the planet Earth, while Christianity was hiding the true identity of who Esau Edom is. And Esau is the thief.
It's said that only a
And here they are showing you through their symbolism that we're going to go around stealing everybody's fucking resources. They just stole us as a nation. They stole all of our inventions during slavery through the patent system. I got another video that I'm going to do later from the brother Nathan Yala of the Atlanta camp, the Atlanta GMS camp. I'm going to land back off of what he did, this Asian lady going in. But this is all these motherfuckers have been doing, has been stealing.
few are chosen to join, and once they do, they become part of a shadowy elite that holds tremendous influence and power in the world. Initiation into society is rumored to involve a coffin and other macabre elements, with the goal of shaping members into a tight-knit group with a shared sense of...
That's if you look up in the left-hand corner, the second dude from the left, that's W. Bush. That's Bush. That's the fucking president, bro. That's the senior, George Bush Sr. He's the one, that nigga started the CIA. He was one of the founding fathers or founding Edomites that started the fucking CIA. The CIA, which is just a more it's a more pumped up version of what the Skull and Crossbones are and what the FBI is. It's just another government arm of Esau going around causing fucking chaos in the earth. One of the three-letter fucking, they call them the three-letter organizations, but that's that fucker right there. And he was a member of he was a thief, a member of the Skull and Crossbones.
Purpose. While it's difficult to know for sure what the Skull and Bones...
Remember Star Trek? Remember the movie Star Trek that was really powerful on TV? You see that symbol right there? And they had that symbol on their fucking shirts in Star Trek.
Society is really about, one thing is certain, it's a powerful and shadowy organization that continues to fascinate and intrigue people all over the world.
Okay, now, I'm going somewhere with this. Let me, it shall enter into the house of the thief. It shall enter into the sea. It's already coming up. Boom. We're going to go to the top. And this is where the chariots come in. All right, this is where Yahweh of hosts, the military force of heaven, the armies of heaven, and Yahushua come in. The archangel Michael. Look at this, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as one as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth falsely, shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God? Do you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? It's talking about these bastards. It's also talking about, what does it say on the dollar bill? In God we trust. They have covered the entire earth with this facade of righteousness, with a veneer of righteousness. They have told the whole world, we're so holy, we're so innocent, and they are the wicked. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Who swears falsely by his name? The so-called white man. Hasn't he renamed him Jesus and Jehovah and God? In God we trust. They're always putting their hand on the Bible. The Bible doesn't say to do any of that stuff. It's this image of righteousness, when in fact they are the wicked. And it shall remain in the midst of his house. And that word house goes into race or nation or family. And shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes and see what it is that goeth forth. And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah. I said, okay, I'm gonna stop reading. One more. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The thief, and this is all the so-called white man does. The thief cometh to steal. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And I am come that you might have life and that you might have it more abundantly. Now trip off of this. Look what's happening.
Venezuela for the American oil companies will be a field day.
She just said it. The first reason.
The good guys.
Because we're going to get their oil. By the way, that's our oil companies. That's not the American people. This is a U.S. Congresswoman, Representative Salazar. She's going on to talk about Venezuela, and she's just going to say the quiet part out loud.
She's the best, this one.
She's going to say the quiet part out loud. So, again, it's just amazing to me that you see dupes on social media. But I think I'm with Kurt. I think they're being paid to make these, because there's nobody in MAGA who's for Trump doing in wars of aggression, imperialism, knocking off. He tried to knock off. They've been trying to knock off Venezuela for the last 25.
And so we also understand that Venezuela falls under what? What tribe is that? Asher. You got Zebulon right above it, Central America, and then pretty much all of South America except for Chile and Argentina. I think it's Chile and Argentina, I think. And that's Zebulon. But this is Asher. These are Hebrew Israelites, you guys. It doesn't matter if they're in sin or transgression, or if they're not calling upon the name of Yahweh. The majority of us are asleep right now because we're in our punishment. We've been scattered, but we have been able to locate these men and women through the prophecies and locate where they are at and South America, Central America, and right up in here at the top of that's Zebulon, Asher, and Naphtali. Okay, that's how you got. Let me see. Yeah, I believe that's right. But I know for sure that Venezuela is Asher, bro. So these are Israelites. Okay,
5 years, 30 years. And Trump tried to do it in his first term. You remember that? He's tried to install Juan Guaido. Juan Guaido gets beat up when he walks the.
And this is the what do you call it? The Jimmy Dore show. This guy's a fucking clown. Okay, he's an absolute clown. But he's an Edomite with his co-host, and all they do is their tongues fall upon their own people with the hypocrisy and their wickedness of what their own. This I would strongly suggest you guys. What do you call it? Subscribe to his channel, because there's a lot of information that comes on his channel, man. But even when an Edomite is pointing out the wickedness of another Edomite, they show that they do not have the wisdom, the fortitude, the righteousness to do so. Even when they're bringing out the evil of their people, they're either half-assed about it, or they're joking about it. They don't understand righteous balance, man. They don't display what should happen to their people when what prophecy says is going to happen to these people is a just balance. They're going to be fucking destroyed, and they're going to be taken into slavery for 1,000 years in front of the whole earth. They have to go through this because look at the shit that they're doing.
Streets in Venezuela because the people hate him. Trump was trying to
asylum.
He was trying to install a puppet in Venezuela. It didn't work. And they were trying to say because we care about democracy in Venezuela. And now they're trying to say it's because they're fighting narco-terrorism. Trump just pardoned the biggest narco-terrorist in the region, the guy who was the former president of Honduras. And he's pardoning him to go screw with the election in Honduras, which is coming up in 2 weeks. And so now they're going to switch from this drug thing to somehow Venezuela was interfering in our election. They just keep. So that's what I've seen people saying that. No, look into it, Jimmy. They were messing with our elections. Wasn't it weird that Donald Trump never mentions that they were messing with our elections? He's going with the drug lie.
Remember, there's always some kind of an excuse because they are what? What are they? They're the accuser of the brethren. And what is the accuser going to? Categories. Let's pull it up in the blue letter. Slovakia. Let's pull it up in the blue letter. Accuser. 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 Accuser of the brethren. All right. So look. So this is Revelations, right? Let's read it. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. So salvation for us doesn't come until this dude is defeated. They have to physically be removed from power. There's no voting. There's no marching. There's none of that. Okay? And so look. Let's get that word accuser. Where you at? Accused. Accuser. Look at this. Look, what is it? What does it look like? Categoreo. What does it sound like, you guys? It sounds like category.
Strong's G 2723. Categareo. Categareo.
And there's no more bigger race of people on the planet Earth that has put everybody in a fucking category other than the so-called goddamn white man. To accuse, before a judge to make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. So this is what they accuse our nationality by renaming us African American or black. They accuse us by calling us Negroid. They accuse us by all this shit. By putting us in a category where then they put themselves what? They put themselves in a category, right? Which is also blasphemy because they're not white. They're red and pink, and they call themselves white. So you can see this is talking about a race of people. This is not talking about the devil. Like everyone wants to believe it's only talking about in Christianity. This is talking about the race of people who puts everybody in a category. What categories are we in? Where do the categories come from? They come from the so-called white man. Let me see if I can. Blumenbach? Bloom. The man who classified races of people. Let me see if this does it. Blumenbach. Let me see if that. Blumenbach. John Frederick Bloom, is that him? The types, yeah. See this fucking piece of shit? This is what he did. But who said he was the one that's supposed to do this? And what angle was he coming from? It couldn't have been a good one. I believe. I want to see if let me see. Oh, let me see. Yeah, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach was a German. He was a Temanite. He was an Edomite from the tribe of Teman. Was a German physician and anthropologist from the 18th century who is known for classifying humanity into 5 races: Caucasian, Mongolian, Ethiopian, Malay, and American. How the fuck is America in a goddamn classification for humanity? Do you guys fucking see this? Now look, that's what the accuser of the brethren is. Those are categories. Those are who told this motherfucker that he could classify. There's 13 nations, and they follow under 3 classifications: righteous, wicked, and heathen. And there's 18 nations. But this fucker, no, I'm going to come along. And then American? Where was America at before America was established? How can that be a classification for humanity? Dude, you start getting mad when you see this shit. But this piece of shit, he attempted this shit. And America's only what? How old is America compared to how long we've been on the planet Earth? Exactly. What a fucking piece of shit. But when you get these precepts, we're able to break these faggots down. And they're able to be exposed, which is what? So you see this. Is that fair? Is it fair for us to say that this guy's a piece of shit? Is it fair for us to say that this race of people is a piece of shit? Because this is what they've done, you guys. These lies, these aren't lies that they told on the street corner. They published these and they became global. What these people have done is they have affected the fucking planet. They are a piece of shit, bro. Look at this shit, man. So Ethiopians are black, or that's the black race. Malay, brown race. Americans, red race. They're red. You see that? Caucasians, white. They're not white. You see, and this is all blasphemy, and this is all confusion, because this is not what Scripture says. And then Mongolian is yellow. See, so they put all these colors on people, and then they're the first race of people to tell you, don't bring in color when you start going back. When you start undoing color, when you start unraveling what they've done, they begin to accuse you and say, oh, you're making it about color. When they are the ones. You see his ass right there. They are the ones that made it about color. Okay, now let's go. There was another one. Oh, yeah. I'm going to come out here. I will Esau his bear. I have made Esau bear. Look, I have made Esau bear. These are all the things that are happening. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bear. I have uncovered his secret places. What was his secret place? His classifications. The things that he said were gospel truth, when that's not what the scriptures say. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Look, how was he hiding himself? This is how. He called himself a Caucasian. He said he's white. The Bible says he's red. Who's telling the truth? Exactly. These motherfuckers are sorry as fuck, bro. This is what they did, dude. They want to reclassify everyone. Why? Why do they want to reclassify everybody? Because they're the thief, and they're the murderer, and they're the liar, and they can't be in order. You can't be who you are because they don't want to be who they are. So if they're going to change who they are, they have to change who you are too. You can't be the Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and so-called blacks. You can't be the Hebrew Israelites because they don't want to be the Edomites. Let's go back here.
A lie? Isn't that weird?
Venezuela was messing with our election? How?
That's what they're saying. I'm not kidding. That's the new thing, Kurt. That's the new thing.
Russia?
So look how pink that guy is in the back. Look at his hat. Look at his fucking sunglasses. Look at his face. His face is almost as red as his lips. They are pink and red, you guys. They are not white. This motherfucker on the right, he's got a fucking spray tan on for him to look that goddamn orange. That's a spray tan. They are not white, you guys. They are red and pink.
Look, it was Russians messing with the election, but they weren't from Russia. They were from another country that you can't say.
So let's watch this.
I mean, I would love to see a change in government. My wife's from Nicaragua. We know how terribly the dictators there rely on Venezuelan oil. But at the same time, a lot of Americans don't want actual U.S. participation in regime change in Venezuela. They would much prefer the Venezuelans to do it on their own. Do you think the pressure that Maduro has received will force him to leave on his own?
Yeah, they would love to not have to go in and coup another government. That's why they have the CIA in Venezuela funding opposition and giving arms to them, so they'll do it themselves, but that's not happening. And this idea that we care about Venezuelans I've got a vaccine to sell you if you believe we care about Venezuelans. Okay, so here, watch what she says, though. She says the quiet power right at the top and right out loud. Watch this.
Oh, I think Maduro is not Fidel Castro. Maduro is not a brave boy. So now that he has understood that he's on that very nefarious list of the terrorist organization, that the airspace above Venezuela has been closed off and the commercial airlines from the United States are not flying, he's understanding that we're about to go in. He understands that he has been our enemy for the last 25 years. Venezuela, for those Americans who do not understand why we need to go in.
Why?
Basically for three reasons.
Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see. Is one of them going to be drug trafficking? Is one of them going to be bringing democracy to their people? Is one of them going to be that Venezuela is messing with our elections? What's going to be the top reason? Let's see. What's going to be the top reason? Let's see.
Fox Business. Venezuela, for the American oil companies, will be a field day.
She just said it. The first reason.
The good guys.
Because we're going to get their oil. By the way, that's our oil companies. That's not the American people. The American people aren't going to see any of that money. That's going to go right to the pocket of Exxon and
You
Shell.
won't even get a discount.
We're not even going to get a discount. She just says it. It's going to be a field day for our oil companies. That's the number one
And
reason.
that is the number one reason why Esau the thief, remember the skull and crossbones, they're telling you that they are the thief. The Most High is prophesying about a thief. And Esau, Edom, is the race of people who are in power on the earth and have the weapons to become a thief. What did the prophecy say? By thy sword thou shalt live. What did it say? Once you start, and they're also the accuser of the brethren. Once you line this all up, you have to be
That's it. It's going to be a field day for our oil companies. That's the number one reason.
The best of us.
The number one reason. Plus, they have lots of natural.
I completely forgot Salakia.
The number one reason. Plus, they have lots of natural rare earth minerals. Let's see.
Good. I was afraid she didn't mention the minerals.
Oh yeah,
but
that's
we're
what it
going
was.
to get those
Salakia.
two, right?
So this is
Because it will be more than $1 trillion in
this is
economic
what the scriptures
activity.
say. If Esau, Salakia, because I had this major phone call come in. If Esau is by thy sword thou shalt live, by thy sword shalt thou live. And all these precepts are lining up with the so-called white man. You guys have to find out another group of people on the earth if you want to keep saying Esau's not the so-called white man. Why is and what did Yahweh say? You will know a tree by its fruits. By the fruit they produce. What is the so-called white man producing? He's producing theft. He's producing sword through war. And then by his sword, he's able to steal, by his bombs and by his bioweapons. And also, he's the accuser of the brethren. He's also able to lie through his media, through the press, through the position of authority that he has. He's able to spread a narrative around the whole planet, not just on the street corner, not just on a fucking city or state. He's able to say a lie that goes around the whole entire planet Earth, and that the whole planet Earth has to struggle with. Look at Genesis 27:40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Look, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. That's talking about having all the resources, you guys. And how do they get the resources? By thy sword shalt thou live. What do you see them doing here?
American companies can go in and fix all the oil pipe, the whole oil rigs, and everything that has to do with the Venezuelan petroleum.
And when she says American company, she means Edomite men, white men, skull and crossbone men, the men like this that lie and recategorize everybody into a false category, right? Men, let's keep going back one more. Skull and crossbones, skull and bone society. These are the American companies that she's fucking talking about. These bastards. And piracy. What's the symbol? The symbol for a pirate. The symbol for pirates of a pirate, right? Of pirates. Oh, it just so happens to be that. And what are pirates? They're fucking thieves, man. Pirates are the flag most commonly identified as the Jolly Roger. Today, the skull and crossbones symbol on the black flag was used during the 1710s by a number of pirate captains, including Samuel. These are all Edomites, right? So it means something to them. And what's piracy? Piracy definition. The practice of attacking and robbing ships at sea. The practice is similar to piracy, but in other contexts, especially hijacking. What the fuck are they doing here, dude?
Oil rigs and everything.
They're hijacking oil. Esau is the first carjacker, you guys.
Has to do with the Venezuelan petroleum companies, or anything that has to do with oil and the derivatives. Number.
If you have a girlfriend, don't download this.
And the derivatives. Number.
There you go. The number one reason, let me tell the people of America, as your congresswoman from Florida, completely corrupt, let me tell you why we should go into Venezuela. For our oil companies. They get $1 trillion worth of oil. She just says it. It's amazing.
She's a former journalist. Did you know that?
So just remember, so they have the Nobel Prize winner, which tells you what Nobel Prizes are worth, who's the conservative in Venezuela, wants to overthrow the government and give their economy to American economic hitmen. So so this is from her. Despite Macado's effort that led to a presidential election in Venezuela in 2024, Maduro remained in power, even as multiple outside analysis determined the results were fraudulent. Macado, this is the woman who Trump wants to install, she's the new Juan Guaido.
Oh.
Which is why she got the Nobel Prize. A conservative former member of the National Assembly said her Nobel Prize was a recognition of the will of our people, who came together to fight the worst criminal regime. She praised Trump's leadership on the issue, as well as Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Funny how it's always somebody, some woman, or someone in the other nation that's always doing business with some Edomite man in America. Isn't that, don't you think that's kind of odd? Because they're using that puppet leader to take all the resources out of that fucking country. It's the same story every fucking time, man.
Saying world leaders who supported her efforts understand this is a universal cause. But get this part. She added that she hoped Venezuela's success would lead to freedom for Cuba and Nicaragua, and predicted if Venezuela became a democracy, then the country would open investments on oil, gas, and mining and gold.
That's what goes with democracy hand in hand.
That's what goes with democracies hand in hand. Oil.
Nicaragua, who has better elections than us. They have more reliable.
That's right.
Less shady elections than America does. That's just a fact. Also, all are democracies. All the people. I know you can't vote for an oil company in Cuba, but you know how here you can't vote in a communist?
Yeah.
It's much the same.
So there it is. Democracy. If democracy, then they're going to be able to, invest in oil, gas, mining, which means rare earth minerals, and gold.
Wait, they could open foreign investment because clearly they have people from there invested in it.
That's right.
But they're talking about the foreign investment that makes all our cities unlivable.
That's right. They're talking about extracting wealth from Venezuela and giving it to foreign companies. That's exactly what they mean. So in August of 2017, Trump continuously asked his top advisors about a military option for overthrowing Maduro. This was in 2017. So Trump's been wanting to do this since the day he got in office. H.R. McMaster, then Trump's national security advisor, and others pushed back hard on Trump's idea, explaining to him that an invasion was unlikely to work and that it would turn regional allies against the U.S. So he's been wanting to do this since 2017, and he just makes up a new reason every 5 minutes and dupes on social media, go along with it, and pretend that you're supposed to be loyal to Trump.
They're not dupes, they're paid. They're paid political operatives
Yeah.
or they're bots. Regional allies are going to turn against it. Do you mean the voters of Trump that would never want this? Nobody wanted this who voted for Trump.
Nobody.
Trump was what's with all the wars. That was what won a bunch of people over. Was that part?
And let's remember what Tulsi Gabbard said back in 2019 about Trump wanting to go into Venezuela in his first term.
The United States has a disastrous history of military intervention.
And remember, anytime you see someone like this in the American government, all they are is controlled opposition to create and give the illusion like there's this back and forth struggle between good and evil, right and wrong. Oh, we shouldn't do it. oh, maybe we shouldn't do it, but you always end up doing it. That's all she's doing. It's all bullshit, you guys. You always got some dude, some chick. Oh, man, what we're doing is wrong. And then you got everybody, speaking underneath. Oh, we should vote for this person to be our president. We should vote for. Meanwhile, the structure, the government of Esau just continues to move over the earth like a fucking cancer, unchecked, right? Just taking and stealing from everyone until when? When does Esau stop? Esau doesn't stop until Yahushua stops him. And that's what prophecy says. Yahushua has to come and stop Esau. That's Isaiah 63, 1-4. That's Lamentations 4, 21 and 22. That's Jeremiah 50 and 51. Just to name a few. That's the war in heaven. Revelations 18, 13.
Change around.
But Yahushua has to come and stop these motherfuckers. And that becomes a violent confrontation where Yahushua destroys Esau from the fathership.
On the world, which has brought suffering to millions of people. It's bankrupted our country, dishonored our troops, and it's undermined our national security. We must end this policy now before we get into yet another military conflict, this time in Venezuela. Now, President Trump and his administration have already instituted heavy sanctions on Venezuela. They've doubled down on their position that all options are on the table. I wholeheartedly support the Venezuelan people as they fight for a free and fair democracy. But the United States should not be in the business of intervening, of picking who should lead their country, and we certainly should not be threatening military action. Venezuela poses no threat to the United States. Congress has not authorized the United States to go to war in Venezuela, and there's no justification for our country to violate the sovereignty of the Venezuelan people. Now, the reality is that threats of U.S. military action and regime change in Venezuela is undermining ongoing efforts to convince North Korea to give up their nuclear weapons program, which exists because Kim Jong-un sees it as the only deterrent against U.S.-led regime change. Now, President Trump is promising North Korea we will not wage regime change war against them, but at the same time is simultaneously threatening regime change in Venezuela. North Korea is going to look at President Trump's actions, not at empty promises. The United States needs to stay out of Venezuela and let the Venezuelan people,
the so-called white man, needs to stay out of Venezuela. It's not the United States. It's the Edomites.
determine their own future.
What happened to that gal? Huh? Now
She
she's
gets a phone call and they switch her over to the other one who wears a different colored suit.
So again, I hate to break it to you, but Trump is not what he campaigned on. He's not what he appeared to be. I know it hurt. It hurt me when I had to realize that about Bernie Sanders. That was painful. So I know it must be painful to people because they really want to believe in America, and you want to believe that Trump was going to do the right thing, and he's going to get rid of our deficit, and he was going to doge the Pentagon, and he was going to end those.
America is a social construct that doesn't exist. People don't realize this is all about the Edomites rulership, man, and fucking America's in a goddamn illusion.
Wars and invest that money back in America, and he was going to make sure people had affordable health care, and he's not doing any of that. He's ramping up the surveillance state, giving hundreds of billions of dollars to Palantir to surveil you. He's exploding the deficit. He's starting more foreign wars. He's doing the bidding of Israel. He's still funding the Ukraine war. He bombed Iran. He bombed Yemen. He's got half the Navy surrounding Venezuela. He's bombing it right now. It is not nobody. He's pardoning drug kingpins like the former president of Honduras while he's deporting college students for writing op-eds about Israel. There's nobody voted for this. Nobody. Maybe a little.
And voting doesn't work because it's all a lie.
Or Loomer. Maybe Mark Levin.
You know, people.
Anyways, the president's lesson was edifying. Again, remember, you guys, who is Esau? Piracy, it goes into the practice of attacking and robbing ships at sea, right? What is the prophecy? I will destroy the dragon in the sea. It's talking about Esau. Talking about the so-called white man. I will destroy the dragon. And so that day his sword. Yep. Look at that. Isaiah 21:27 Sorry. And that day, says Yahweh, with his sore and great and strong sword, and that's Yahushai, shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Going into what? The freaking the whore who sits on many waters. The waters is the sea. The waters are people. Sits on many waters, and they're telling you that they are the pirate that's in those waters, taking from whoever they want, because their blessing is the sword. And there came out. Let me see, and I'll show you look, Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sits on many waters. The great whore is that same fucking dragon. The Leviathan, the crooked serpent, which is what? The seven-headed dragon, the Roman Empire, which are the fucking biblical Edomites. It all connects, you guys. And these motherfuckers brag to you by telling you this is what they do. Since they've been given that position, since they sit on many waters, since they are the dragon in the sea, they're going to fucking steal from you. And the only person that can stop them is Yahweh Shai. Okay? The war in heaven. And I'll be done. The war in heaven. And that's what this is. Revelations 12:7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. It's the same fucking dragon. It's the same whore. It's the same pirate. And the dragon fought in his angels and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Are they not closing over the airspace in Venezuela right now? Well, what is the airspace? It's heaven. That's the second heaven, dude. They're telling you that they're the fucking prince of the power of the air, bro. These fucking motherfuckers have to be brought down, you guys. I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from. It's your brother Radash. Shalom.